What's up, everyone? I am your host, Rabina Rastavan, and this is the Mystic Media channel. So, today I am going to talk about KRS One and how he ties into this whole Afrika Bambaataa situation. So, the reason why I'm talking about KRS One today is because one of my Facebook friends posted KRS One's official response to the flack he's been receiving after he basically was like, I don't give a fuck about the allegations against Afrika Bambaataa. Now, before I get into my video, I just want to explain my position on the whole thing involving KRS-One. So, as I explained in earlier videos, I'm a hip hop head to the fullest. I grew up on hip hop. KRS-One was one of my favorite hip hop artists. I love Criminal Minded. I loved that what was that other one? By All Means Necessary, the second one he put out. Um, Also some of the subsequent CDs he put out, especially I loved Black Cop. Um, Even when he put out that one, what is it called? I can't think of the name, but it was like late '90s. And Step Into This World was one of the tracks on there. Love that CD. So I'm coming from a position where, KRS One, I really held him in high esteem when it comes to the hip hop industry. So I was very dismayed and very disappointed when I heard his remarks, his initial remarks. So I'm going to read his response if you guys haven't read it. So basically, KRS says, keep the focus and ignore the haters. Part one, as you know, he's very loquacious. And I'll get into that because I pulled his chart and I'm not going to get deep into his chart, but I will discuss some things that I see, some of the things that caught my eye right off bat. So basically, he's saying, I have just arrived in Barcelona. So, of course, he's going to, drop that. He's a Leo, so he's, full of himself, has a big ego. I have just arrived in Barcelona. Sorry for the delay. In response to the responses and comments made after my interview with Nori, I am taking this time to clarify some of my statements to those that seem to be confused about my remarks regarding the controversy surrounding Afrika Bambaataa. One headline that I have read stated KRS One doesn't care if Afrika Bambaataa molested kids. Wow, really? Isn't that basically what he said when he said, I don't give a fuck? Like, how else, like, how more plain can you put it? Anyway, fortunately, anyone can go to the audio and or video recording of my entire interview with Nori and see for themselves just how irresponsible such headlines are. It seems that people will say anything these days to draw attention to their site. Okay, so let me interpret what I just wrote. I mean, what I just read. Basically, this is him displaying his overblown ego. He's coming from he's taking a condescending approach already in the first paragraph, basically downplaying anybody that's, having any questions or that are criticizing his remarks. So then he goes on and says, I am indeed concerned about the accusations made against Afrika Bambaataa, but I will not become entangled in a controversy. Nigga, you already are. That seems to be less about justice and more about self promotion and revenge. So, okay, now basically he's saying that the people that made these allegations against him are out to get revenge and that they want some attention and self-promotion. So he's not even taking a apologetic approach. Of course, I care if a young person is being accused or even neglected. My entire life is based upon the protection and further development of young people. I teach and inspire young people every day! Exclamation mark. Yeah, we know. Keep on stroking your ego, KRS. But as you can see, irresponsible headlines like KRS One doesn't care if Afrika Bambaataa molested kids. Irresponsible headlines. He was the one, again, to reiterate, that said, I don't give a fuck. Then he goes on and says, and trying to turn a funny song I did years ago, so he's mentioning 13 and Good, into some kind of question regarding my character is precisely the type of sensationalist gossip, which I really don't give a fuck about. Yeah, we know you don't give a fuck about a lot of things, especially important things like children being molested. let us have focus and ignore these haters. So everybody that's criticizing KRS for his very insensitive remarks are basically haters, reduced to haters. This is classic dark-sided Leo shit. I said then, as I am saying right now, it is not that I don't care at all about the accusations made against Afrika Bambaataa. I am saddened at the whole controversy. Well, you didn't appear that way with your interview with Nori and the whole controversy and how it's being handled. It is not that I don't care. It is more the fact that I don't gossip. I don't take sides. Yeah, I know you don't take sides because of what I see in your chart. And that don't concern me. I don't slander people's names. So now he's basically saying Bambaataa is being slandered. And slander is basically when somebody says something about you that's not true. So he's basically saying these people are lying. And I don't believe in abandoning your friends. Of course he doesn't, because he's a 20. 20s are very, they like that close-knit family type of circle type of thing. So he's not going to betray Bambaataa, because he's all about that family and that clique and that tribe and that nation, Zulu Nation. What is so confusing about that? My position is clear! Exclamation mark. At this moment, all I am seeing and hearing regarding Afrika Bambaataa is gossip and sensationalism. And like I have already said, I really don't give a fuck about all that. Yeah, we know you don't give a fuck, KRS. I don't apply my mind to gossip and slander. Slandering the accused for the sake of slander is not justice, nor is it seeking justice. I would like to see justice, and so would the alleged victims, and healing for both accusers as well as for the accused. Both continuous slander and disrespect are not healing anyone or even correcting the situation. So he goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm not even going to read the rest because he's just rambling on and on, which to me can be signs of somebody feeling like they have to defend themselves because there's something that they're trying to cover up. Like when you have to go into like a 20 paragraph tirade, then I mean, like, really, are you guilty of something? Like, are you like part of something that we don't know? Like, you're really like being very defensive, KRS, when you were the one who came out and made these very insensitive comments regarding those alleged victims, which is very insensitive. Anybody that's ever been a victim of sexual abuse, you'll know what I'm talking about. Even if you haven't been a victim of that, then if you have any compassion, then you'll know that what he said, even if it was taken out of context, which it wasn't, because we heard that part of the interview, what he said was highly insensitive, and it could even be seen as cruel, especially if he knows some of these guys and if he knows like some information that could really implicate Bambaataa. So I wanted to get into his chart a little bit. And also at the bottom of this statement, he engages in this self-promotion that he accused the other people of doing by, plugging his new album or his new music project and all of that stuff. So he's full of himself, of course, but I think everybody can see that if you know of KRS. Very egotistical, very emotional, as you could see in that statement. I mean, that statement was super long. He was born on the 20th of August, so that makes him a Leo, but that makes him a very soft Leo. So while he tries to have this hard persona, deep down inside, he's like Jello. So he's really taking this situation hard about Bambaataa. He really, has this strong connection to him, and he really wants to believe that Bambaataa's in the right. But I have a sneaky suspicion that KRS One knows more than he's pretending to know. And I really did, like I said, I really didn't look at his chart in full, but I do see some things that can point to being a liar, and also putting on a facade, not really for yourself, but for others. Also being more so of a follower than a leader, and knowing the truth, but not speaking the truth, or speaking some of the truth, and then like, darting around what really needs to be said. And if you look at a lot of KRS One's lectures, now I've been listening to KRS One's lectures over the past few days, And that's the thing about me. If I'm gonna talk about something, I do my research first. So I've been researching KRS and just, what he has to talk about. And a lot of those lectures, he'll get to this rambling and he'll just start contradicting himself. He just won't make any sense. There's this one video out there where he's talking about Freemasonry, and he's basically saying that the elite, those at the top, are righteous and that they're good, and that they just want you to believe that they're, something to be feared. So a lot of times his ideas and his concepts are out in left field, or sometimes they just don't make sense at all. And that has to do with his moon conjunct North Node in Gemini, which would put his South Node in Sagittarius. Now, Gemini is a sign, don't take this personal for any Geminis, but a lot of times with Gemini is all about information and communication, but a lot of times it's without rhyme or reason. Or a lot of times it's just, shooting a breeze or talking shit, or, just saying shit you want to hear, but there's nothing really profound. Or there will be, there may be one grain of truth, but that grain of truth is covered up with a whole bunch of lies or bullshit. So Gemini moon conjunct the North Node. Now that made him a great lyricist. So I'll give him that. He's a wonderful lyricist. But when it comes to just his character and his personality, I am seeing some flaws. Now, we all have flaws, but what I look for are specific flaws that can point to certain things that, would basically underscore certain character traits. So with KRS, I'm looking to see, okay, does he have the potential to be a liar? When I look at his chart, he has Mercury square Neptune. Yes, he does have the potential to be a liar, but not only with that, because that alone won't, necessarily make you a liar, but it will make you prone to spinning yarns and trying to cover up the truth with lies. But he also has Saturn in Pisces, opposition Pluto in Virgo. So that can be somebody that tries to cover up the truth, and that could be deeply ingrained within them, where they need to project this outside image of always being the upstanding do-gooder individual and always having the knowledge. However, a lot of times they're just faking the funk. So I feel like there's a good chance with this whole Afrika Bambaataa scandal that KRS might be faking the funk. And I feel like he fakes the funk a lot when he gives these lectures at universities. So he's getting paid like big bucks to basically just, ramble on about stuff. And I notice in his lectures it tends to be like the same conversation or the same discussion. So he often, just keeps on pushing the same ideas at you with nothing really fresh or new. And he is so about his legacy in hip hop that he will let that overshadow the truth, because he doesn't want to be taken from his throne. He's a Leo. So he's very prideful. He doesn't want to swallow his pride. So that's why, he was like, I don't give a fuck. And then also with him being a 20, he's all about family, tribe, nation, like I said. So he'll be riding with Bambaataa till the end, until, like, he will go down with the shit, basically. KRS One. So we'll see. Recently, Bambaataa's bodyguard came out on Shot 97 and was telling stories about Bambaataa's activities and possible child molestation, and how he said he was always with a young boy, or like, especially when they went overseas. No, not when they went overseas. He said something like Bambaataa would take young boys overseas with him, but also when he was touring in the States, that's when the bodyguard was with him. He would be having young boys in the room. And then one time he even caught this young boy, I guess, masturbating, and Bambaataa was in the room with him and had his hands in his pants. So yeah, like, it's getting really heated. So KRS One, he's in a really precarious position. So I don't know. He really needs to think twice before opening up his mouth again. And after watching a lot of his lectures and seeing a lot of his interviews, I've really lost a lot of respect for him, period. You know, the whole Bambaataa thing is separate. Just, getting to really know who he is on a fundamental level beyond the hip hop, I'm starting to see like, yo, like this dude's kind of shady. So that's just my take on KRS One. I'm not taking away from his contribution to hip hop. I mean, like I said, one of my favorite songs by KRS BDP is "Criminal Minded." You know how it was on the "Criminal Minded" CD, the title track. Man, he just goes on and on and on and on. So I gotta give him that. He's one of the best lyricists out there. But KRS, you need to step up to the plate when it comes to doing what is right. And let's say these allegations turn out to be false. He at least needs to admit that his approach was, very insensitive. But in this recent statement, it seems like, he really wasn't apologetic, and his ego, his overblown ego, was really shining through. So that's just basically my take on KRS One. Please like and subscribe. Please feel free to comment and contribute. And more videos to come. Peace and blessings.